I'm going to go ahead and make this a short one, and I kind of touched on it in previous audios, but there are ways that you can defend yourself and to pay attention to things, and some of you really need to stand up for yourselves. Regardless of everything, you need to stand up for yourselves. We all make mistakes in life, and I've shared some of those with you here. You're well aware of that. I do not try to portray the image that I'm perfect at all. I have said numerous times that I am on a spiritual journey and I'm still learning. I'm just trying to take as many of you along with me. So with that being said, you have to have a certain mindset that you are not the end all be all when it comes to experience and knowledge. You're not. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You have to humble yourself to that fact. You have to humble yourself to the fact that there is a higher consciousness, a higher spiritual realm that exists that we all have to answer to. We all have to be accountable for. And once you acknowledge those things, then you'll be able to receive the information that you need to receive in order to make it through this thing called life. You have to. So, what you need to do after whatever it is that you've taken accountability for, once that's out the way, you've done that, you've taken care of that, that's great, that's wonderful. Okay, so after you have acknowledged and embraced the reality of your situation, the next thing you need to do is make sure that you're exhibiting the behaviors that indicate that things are different. Shit's hitting different now, and the world needs to see that. Because if you're still operating in that same energy, it's going to be hard to kind of navigate because you're living in a false reality. And it's going to be hard to receive the true blessings because you're not living in your true reality. Next thing you need to know, and this is something that I learned when I was in rehab, is that just because you've apologized and made yourself accountable to everybody, don't assume that everybody's going to welcome you with open arms, because there are going to be some negative feelings that are being harbored. And everybody processes negative feelings differently. You might receive the brunt of it right away, but you might not even hear from some people at all. Some people might wait a long time. Some people might not say anything at all and still have negative feelings against you. So make sure that your intentions are clear. Don't do it expecting for it to be a kumbaya moment. Michael rode a boat ashore and everybody's hugging and kissing and flower child running through the meadow, because it might not turn out to be that way. And another thing is, accept the fact that your reality that you had before does not exist anymore. Because I used to hear all the time when I was in the rehab and homeless shelter from people about, I want my life back. I never did say that. I didn't want my life back. I didn't want things the way they were before. I didn't want to be in that situation anymore. I wanted something different. And because I chose to approach my life differently, then I was aware of the fact that it's going to be different. And different is okay. It doesn't have to be scary. My best thinking got me into the messes that I got in the first place. So why would I want to go back to that? So I'd have to do this shit all over again. And for any of you that are getting older, you realize this: when you try to go and revisit things that you used to do, it's a little bit harder for you to do, if at all. It takes longer, it's more painful, and it takes a lot of energy that you just don't have to deal with things. So when you have these people that don't welcome you with open arms and everything, don't let that catapult your thinking to the point where you're reverting back to the same old ways because you were expecting a certain reaction from people. Don't consume yourself so much as to somebody's reaction to the point where it interferes with you becoming a productive citizen. And some of y'all are doing that shit. And lastly, don't let your guilt allow you to be a doormat to these people. Just because they didn't see what you went through to get where you are today, they assume in their minds you didn't go through nothing. That's spiritual immaturity, people. Spiritual immaturity. And that's their fucking problem, not yours. Just because they didn't see you go through the muck and mire, it didn't happen in their mind. That's immature. That's some shit they got to figure out. They felt a certain type of way about you 5 years ago, and they're assuming you're the same way today. They don't know where the hell you've been in the past 2,100 days. They don't know what you've been through every hour on the hour. But because they're so hung up on the old shit, they haven't taken time to accept the fact that maybe possibly things could have changed. Because first of all, they didn't keep up with you. Their negative perception of you had clouded the vision to the point that even if they did contact you on a regular basis, they weren't receiving the new information because they were still consumed with hurt and bitterness. And hurt and bitterness blinds you. Let me say that again. Hurt and bitterness blinds you to reality. And it keeps you entrapped. So please, if you are trying to move on from an old existence that did not serve you and hurt other people, don't make it a point to assume that everybody else is going to be on board. Because first of all, this new existence is not about them, it's about you. And I know it sounds selfish, but some of you need to get selfish. You need to put that thing to bed, because if you let it consume, you're going to find yourself doing the same shit all over again, and you don't understand how you wind up right back at the same place you delivered yourself from because you done got depressed over somebody else's reaction. It happens every single day. I've seen people that were clean for 10, 20 years will turn around and get on the bottle, and all of a sudden they're gone. And you're wondering why. And when they start investigating, come to find out some kind of broken relationship that they were involved in, the stress and everything associated with that drove them to go back to doing what they were doing. So there are times in your life where you're going to be the only one that's going to give a fuck about what's going on with you. Let me say that again. There's going to be a time in your life where you're going to be the only one that's going to give a fuck about you. You got to be strong. Acknowledge and accept the fact, okay, they feel like X, Y, and Z, but the train's got to keep going. You got to keep moving. Don't let nobody punk you into a point where you're feeling so guilty that you feel that you deserve to get beat up every time you turn around. If you get sick and tired of people getting in your face, excuse the noise, I'm near a main entrance here, so I'm going to give them a second. Okay, I think they're done now. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Don't let guilt overconsume you to the point where you are a spiritual dumping ground and a punching bag for people who were hurt by you. Now, you've already said what you needed to say. You've already went ahead and tried to acknowledge it. Now, if they choose to forgive you, if they choose not to, that's going to be something that they're going to have to be held accountable for. See, the good thing about an apology and being humble. When you apologize to someone, first of all, don't expect anything. Don't apologize to them looking for a reaction from them. Apologize to them because you want to acknowledge that you were wrong. Acknowledge it and keep it moving. Because revenge is a motherfucker. And some people practice emotional revenge and don't even realize they're doing it. And I'm going to tell you how. Let's say you apologize for X, Y, Z and they say everything's okay. The minute they get frustrated or mad or something about some shit that don't have anything to do with you, the first thing they want to do is bring up your situation. That's emotional revenge. They didn't forgive you for nothing. They said it for the sake of appearances. I'd rather you not say anything to me at all. I'm going to be honest with you. Or they'll sit there and harbor the feelings all this time like everything was wonderful, and all of a sudden out the blue they want to address some bullshit that happened all these years ago. You ain't said shit before. That's emotional revenge, people. And harboring all that in their heart, knowing that they felt another way. So now they got to suffer for it. Okay? Because if it could happen with you, it could happen with other people, and it probably has happened with other people. That's their problem. Look, like they say, this is a you problem, not a me problem. Damn, Skippy. You got to learn to let some things go. And, I've talked to a couple of people and they said, you know what, Deanna, you said you were sorry. You said it one time. That should be the end of the damn story. Exactly. Exactly. See, the ball is in the other person's court. Once you lay everything out and acknowledge your part and take responsibility, it's the other person's responsibility now to deal with it. You have unleashed that burden. So what you going to take it up again for? Don't allow yourself to be beat up. They have a phrase called parenting out of guilt. I know some parents right now let their children talk to them all kind of ways, let them run in and out their life. They won't stay out of their pocketbook. Every single month they're asking them for this, and the parents sit up there thinking, well, I didn't do so-and-so for them, or I wasn't there for them, so, I feel I owe them something. You're still here, aren't you? That should be good enough. And I know this may sound arrogant to some people, and I'm really sorry that it does, because you're probably one of those people that's getting taken advantage of. So, okay, you just go ahead and you keep that energy over there. I'm talking to the people who have had their fill with the bullshit with their grown-ass kids, or with the old-ass parent that don't even want to do anything and ain't had nothing, or their ungrateful supervisor, or their ungrateful friends. I'm talking about these people who are apparently more perfect than they are, because they have never done anything wrong. And that's another thing. They're going to sit up there and beat you over the head over something. They're trying to act like they're so perfect. Did they not forget that you was here before all this shit started? So I'm going to do another audio, and I'm going to talk about where they talk about the backstory. I'm going to talk about the spiritual backstory, because there's one thing that we're forgetting right now. We're forgetting the fact that before the thing went down and all these other people came along, you were there. And there was a story before all these other people came along. Before the children and the grandchildren and the in-laws and the boyfriends and the girlfriends, you was there before all that shit. Okay? And there was a story before they came along. So we're going to talk about that. Okay? It may take a couple of audios, as a matter of fact. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Have a great day.